Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a bit different style of video today, the NIL valuation. Now I know there's a lot of people who are really new on this video because I imagine this is, with it being a more popular topic, it's gonna, probably get more of an audience. But I thought I'd just start off here with the top 50 NIL athletes according to on3.com. They just kind of released this list. Top 10 went viral, but I think there's a lot more interesting stuff from 50 to 49 all the way up to 11, 10, etc. So number 50 is Caleb Love. Combo guard is his position. Yeah, shooting guard, point guard, really high volume guy. But differently, he's actually now off of UNC. He's in the transfer portal. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he sees this and a school will see this and they think that they need to offer him $700,000. I don't think it'll be like that. And there's not a stat on here about percentage of maybe what the school brings, but I think, being the guard on the UNC team, I think brings a lot of value with that too. So maybe it'll go down a bit since that, but it says recently up $11. So I imagine it's probably $11,000. So we'll see how that goes. Number two, probably the best name out there. We knew him for a long time before this. Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama. The other cornerbacks both just got drafted, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects his stock. It's down a little bit now, but very interesting to see that he's on here. Probably one of the only defensive players we'll see. Number 48, probably one of the best athletes on here. Paige Buchers. She is a shooting guard from the UConn Huskies. She's been out last year or two with an injury. She's got 1 million followers on Instagram, a lot on TikTok as well. But the first millionaire follower we have here, and the first for a while. We'll see a lot of the female athletes have a way higher social media followings, but with the lack of TV presence, I would say, she's making more money than a shooting guard at UNC, which says a lot. So obviously she's pretty much the face of women's basketball. When you say, hey, name a women's basketball player, it's probably her, or the girl on Caitlin Clark. There you go. The girl in Iowa. So she's obviously insane, but I don't know if she'll be on this list, but we'll see. Travion Henderson fell out of favor last year as a running back over at Ohio State, so I don't know if he'll really bring in this much money. He was a starter, but he didn't do all that much this year. And then another Ohio State guy here, an edge rusher from Eastside Catholic out in Washington, JT Tuliamalu. He had not a big social media follower. It looks like he's got not really even a TikTok, which is not surprising because a lot of these guys don't really have TikToks. But big time presence after the Penn State game. So not surprising that the best player on the defense gets a high value here. The first incoming player, we have Jackson Arnold. He's a freshman here. 5-star recruit going to Oklahoma from Texas. So, a bit of a Red River shootout there going through. And it'll be interesting to see how much money he got to go to OU. I know Venables isn't big on the portal and NIL, so I'd imagine this is probably all through a collective or the school itself. First Final Four player here, we have Adama Sonogo. He's got almost zero social media presence, 8,000 followers, probably one of the lowest we'll see on here. But he's done a lot on the floor, which makes a lot of sense why he's so valued. Because if he does an ad right now, it's Final Four member Adama Sonogo and likely national champion. So being the best player on the national championship team checks out. March Madness gets a lot of people watching basketball, and a lot of guys are like, who's that big dude on UConn? It's Sonogo. So go out there and make a thing. Maybe Sunoco, the gas station. Sunoco. We've seen that mistake made by Charles Barkley. So it seems like an easy deal there for the gas station. Braylon Trice, first guy, I have zero idea who this is. Almost zero social media following. So I don't know if he's famous or related to somebody, but edge rusher out of Washington. Interesting to see that he's valued so high. Marcus Sasser, unbelievable point guard coming out of Houston here. Probably going to the league, might come back for another year. But again, best player on a team in Texas, big media market. I think Mattress Mac might be giving him a big NIL deal, but minimal social media following. But we move on here. Cam Rising, quarterback from Utah. Big big guy here. Real good player, very on your TV, the best player probably on Utah, along with Dalton Kincaid. The long mullet hair and the big mustache, give you maybe some beef jerky ads or something funny like that, some outdoorsy thing. I would definitely pay that if I was a company, so makes sense there. The first non-player in college, we have Dylan Raiola. Was committed to Ohio State. He's mocked here to USC, which makes no sense to me. I think he's going to Georgia. And if you're the quarterback of Georgia or Nebraska, he might be going there. They could be giving him a lot more than $800K a year. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I think it's a couple mil to get this guy to recruit. Lai Latu, he's the edge rusher. From the UCLA Bruins. Again, almost no media following. I don't really know him all that much, so I'm just going to keep going. JJ McCarthy, quarterback of my team. Very famous. Obviously, his girlfriend got a lot of media attention as well during the TCU game, so makes sense. The starting quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines. Obviously, he's going to make a lot of money. $800K, that checks out. He does a lot of things on the field that get him going. That viral clip of him doing that, him meditating before the games, things like that. So checks out for me. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but Robert Dillingham, overtime elite, another 5-star prospect going to Kentucky, big on social media, $500K, the most we've seen in a while. Yeah, super big following, really checks out. I mean, if you're the star recruit going to Kentucky, you're going to make a lot of money. That's pretty clear. Jaime Jaquez, the darling of USC's team a few years ago, obviously the big mullet, the wavy hair, big headband, big mustache, beard, looking like not a Confederate, but a general in the like Pickett's Charge. Actually, that would be a Confederate general. But a lot of the old Civil War veterans have that hair. It kind of reminds me of that. So a little old-timey there. You could do some old-time ads, something like that. Not as much on social media, but he's got 50K Instagram followers. So media deals, beware. Jaden Daniels, former I thought it was a 5-star. I guess he's a 4-star here according to On3. Recruit. He was at Arizona State, beat Michigan State, and then flipped over to LSU where he beat Alabama last year. And I think he could be a Heisman frontrunner. So I would not be surprised if this money goes way up, if not doubles. The first of the twins here, we have Hannah Cavender and Haley Cavender. I can just do those two together. The TikTok queens, they both got 4.5 million followers on TikTok, which is unbelievable. They're worth 800K each. I know one plays and one doesn't, so maybe that'll factor in their media, but those two have taken over social media and TikTok, and they've been on all sorts of different things in podcasts, so they obviously had the violation that got them in trouble and their program in trouble with super booster Ruiz. That deal he wasn't really supposed to be making. So in between him is Brandon Miller. Obviously, probably not the most ideal NIL stuff now after what happened, but the best player on the best team in the country makes sense. But we'll skip past that one. Nick Singleton, running back from Penn State. Super good running back, probably the third or fourth best in the conference, the Big Ten, and best player on Penn State. Makes a lot of sense. Dante Moore from my hometown, Detroit, Michigan. He was supposed to go to Oregon, flipped to UCLA at the end. 5-star kid, super good quarterback. The quarterback of Chip Kelly's offense. He's going to be putting up a lot of numbers and probably in a Heisman discussion at some point, whether that be this year or moving forward. When he transfers to Michigan in a few years, it would make a lot more sense. But Evan Stewart, another receiver, one of these guys, tons of TikTok following, but he's in that crazy class that A&M had, so obviously they make a lot of money. Malachi Nelson, 5-star quarterback, number 1 in the country, going to the Trojans. He's the best quarterback in the country, depending on who you ask, whether it be Arch Manning or Nico. They both feature on this list higher up, but the quarterback for USC, following in the footsteps of Caleb Williams, checks out. Next on the list, we got Drew Timme, the mustache man, the king of all of that over in Gonzaga. Not too much Instagram following. He's got 100K, which is pretty good, but for a guy of his size, you'd think it'd be a bit more. He's obviously one of the most famous players in the recent history of March Madness, one of the leading scorers all time, but checks out a lot. Quinshon Judkins was a freshman last year. Super, super, super good running back. And with the way they do NIL down at Ole Miss, it checks out that he's on this list pretty high. Emeka Egbuka, One of the other receivers on Ohio State receivers are very good, going pro. Probably can wear something at your draft night if you sponsor him, so makes a lot of sense that he's on this list here. Spencer Rattler, former Heisman favorite back-to-back years at Oklahoma, now is over in Columbia, South Carolina. Had a great game last year down the stretch. Obviously, great games, plural, and got super famous off of it. 100K on all three social medias. I think the first person to do that, so credit to you. Almost worth $1 million. But speaking of $1 million, Shaquille O'Neal, the son of Shaq, over at Texas Southern, 3.6 million on TikTok. A lot of that's because of the last name, but we'll see a few of these guys on here. Their last name is a big reason why. Blake Corum, Heisman front runner last season before he got injured, the starting running back of Michigan, the heartbeat and soul of the best team in the Big Ten and the third best team in the country last year. Makes a lot of sense. Sam Hartman, same thing. He's transferring to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's quarterback. It's finally a good quarterback at Notre Dame, which means a lot. He had the big collarbone issue and the big beard, shaving it and then getting his collarbone or his rib get removed as a necklace. So a bit of a wild child, but again, the quarterback at Notre Dame makes a lot of sense. Xavier Worthy. Another guy with no TikTok on here. He's a wide receiver from Texas. Big player. Real good. Was initially going to go to Michigan. Didn't end up going to Michigan. Some shenanigans involving his mother and the ex-Broyles Award winner, or Browse Award winner. Name escapes me. He just got fired from Miami. Pace and Space was his name. Totally blanking. Sorry about that. But Sam Hurley up next. Big TikTok guy. He's a track guy on TikTok. And he's a freshman runner over at Hook'em, Horns, Texas. Bryce James, the youngest son of LeBron James, up next at 17. I think he's like a junior in high school or a sophomore in high school. Obviously a lot of social media following. And being the son of LeBron James, checks out. Jordan Travis, similar story to Notre Dame, getting a really good quarterback over at Florida State that checks all the boxes and pays all the bills. Jared McCain, he is a big guy on TikTok. We saw him in the McDonald's All-American game the other night. And from Corona, California. Don't demonetize me for saying Corona, YouTube. And he's a Duke's top recruit, 5-star recruit to Duke. You check all the boxes, you're going to make a lot of money. Speaking of making a lot of money, the new savior of the Feels Like 98 Brigade over at Tennessee is Nico Iamaleava. I believe that's how you say it. So obviously, we'll learn more going out there throughout the year. But yeah, Michael Penix also up there, another Heisman frontrunner, transferred from Indiana over to Washington, making a ton of money now, 1.3 mil. We're getting some serious cash now. Up next is 12, probably the best player on this list, and I hate to say it because he's my rival, but Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously famous dad, 5-star recruit. It says 4-star, but I remember he's a 5-star guy. 300K on social media. Probably going to be going pro after this year. Unbelievable player. I mean, let's be honest here. This guy is so good. Sustina Lee, she's from St. Paul, Minnesota. I believe she's a gymnast. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yep, she's a gymnast. She is from Auburn. 3.5 million on Instagram, on 3.5 overall. She's got 180K on Twitter and 1.7 on Instagram, 1.6 on TikTok. 1.4 million is her valuation, which is insane. The second highest female on this list and second highest gymnast. I think everyone knows who's going to be up there, the queen herself. Number 10, top 10, we're getting some serious cash here. We got Hansel Emmanuel from Life Academy. He's a 3-star recruit, but super social media sensation. He's at, I think it's Northwestern State or something. I forgot where he's actually at, but he's only got one arm. He's the guy that has one arm. That's super good. Like, he's a legit 3-star recruit with one arm. Like, imagine if he had a second arm, he'd be, like, insane. So, considering his disability, the fact that he's a legitimate player and could maybe even get into the league is unbelievable and, like, the most untalked about story out there. Number 9, Bo Nix, the the ex-Tiger, the once legend there, beating Oregon in his first game. Now is over there at Oregon for his second year. He's one of the Heisman frontrunners and makes so much sense. Speaking of Heisman frontrunners, we've got Drake May, I believe is second in the Heisman race right now, the quarterback for UNC. Guy is unbelievable, and I will not be surprised if he doesn't go second overall in the draft next year. Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, prime time, committing over to Colorado along with Travis Hunter, the number one recruit in the country last year. Both of them are coming into Colorado, making a ton of money, and for right reasons, that they're going to have a lot of people paying attention to Colorado and getting them relevant in football again for the first time in a long time. Caleb Williams, the Heisman frontrunner and reigning Heisman Trophy winner from D.C. over in Gonzaga. Not much to say here. He won the Heisman. He's in the Heisman House ads. Those pay a lot. So not many times have they recently been able to return to college after winning the Heisman. But he can do that, and he probably will win another one. So 2.9 mil or 2.6 mil makes a lot of sense. Number 4, Mikey Williams, going to Memphis. The rival Instagram following guy, 3.8 million. He's been a rival of Bronny James for a while growing up. It's been him and Bronny have been number 1 and number 2 a long time going up. Obviously not as good as people would have thought, with him only being a 4-star recruit. I know Bronny, I think, is a 3 or 4-star recruit as well. But 6 million followers, 3.3 million valuation. He'll be the next huge star over at Memphis after Imani Bates, but hopefully works out better than him. And top 3 here, Livy Dunn, obviously, 7.3 million on TikTok, one of the most followed on the app. Had to get some security because a lot of guys were giving her a lot of smack and going crazy and asking her to prom and all this stuff. But 11.2 million followers, 3.4 million valuation. I mean, I think she was in a Super Bowl commercial, I'm pretty sure. So makes a lot of sense from the LSU junior over in Baton Rouge. Number 2, Arch Manning. Again, last name, the son of not Eli, not Peyton Manning, but obviously they're his uncles. There's a lot of money in the NIL, was architecture deals too with his dad, Cooper Manning. But the final guy in the line of the Mannings for now, for the foreseeable future, one of the best recruits of all time. Whether that be legit or not, we'll see. He's a big hook'em guy and could be winning the Heisman this season. We'll see how that all ends up. And finally, of course, number 1, Bronny James, $7.2 million, doubling up everyone on this list. He's got 7 million on Instagram, 5.7 on TikTok. He's obviously a member of FaZe. He could be a Twitch streamer if he wanted to be, but he also happens to be exceptionally good at basketball, which pays the bills, a lot more than Twitch, I would say. But at his level, you don't even know. So that's all. We'll wrap it up for there. Let me know down below if there's some other people that you thought should be on here that you were surprised weren't. A few that come to mind to me. I was surprised that there weren't a few other recruits coming in from Michigan, whether it be Donovan Edwards, other guys, and maybe like Jet Howard wouldn't be on here. He was, son of Juwan Howard, Fab Five money at Michigan, but yeah, surprising. Like Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud wasn't on here too, but obviously they're pro now. But I thought they'd still sneak onto this list. So thank you all for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace.